Oh, snap. I know y'all ain't think I was about to just graft without walking through it with y'all. Come on, man. Peace, neighbors. Yo, what's popping with the population, man? It's your favorite neighbor, Dayron, aka Neighborhood. Man, welcome back to the greatest More Life show on the planet. As you guys can see from what I showed you earlier in the episode and from what I was about to do, it's that time, neighbors. It's that time. Your favorite neighbor, Dayron, has been for some time now. I say at least 2 years. Been just so intrigued and working on his grafting skills, you know. And the beginning or middle of last year, I really just started like locking into watching many videos. I was trying to find some type of mentors to walk me through the process because I know being a student and just wanting to learn something new, especially whether you're grafting, air layering, it could be very much like, damn, like it could be like, it could seem harder than what it is, neighbors. It's harder than what it is. And that's how it was seeming to me. So I always felt like I needed that person to show me hand in hand how to graft. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need that. You don't need to watch another grafting video. I mean, I'm not saying don't study the craft or watch videos. I'm just saying, if you have been putting off grafting for some time now, this video right here is the one that's gonna get you in your bag, man. Get you in your bag, get you grafting, and hopefully make you confident enough to look within self to finally just have the confidence to just start, you know? I'm gonna tell you this, neighbors, you're not gonna be good at anything if you don't start. You learn more in 1 hour of doing it as to oppose 6 months of thinking it. I got this quote from Trap, but he got it from this dude named Mark Randolph. I don't even know who that is. I just know it from Trap. Man, that quote really stuck with me because that's so true. It wasn't until I actually started to take action and graft when I started to get good at it. And I watched so many videos, and I still messed up. I still made an asinine mistake. Now, I'm not telling you don't watch all the videos or learn as much as you can, because learning and studying is how you can minimize the mistakes that you don't necessarily have to make. I'm never gonna say don't study the craft, but what I'm saying is take action, man. Start that graft. The food forest is waiting on you. And if you don't wanna start, make sure to go tap into the online plant nursery at NH Grower Society, man. Go check out what your favorite neighbor has to offer. We got seeds, got an ever-growing collection of fruit-bearing trees, got occasional herbs. Just go check out what your favorite neighbor has to offer. Let us help you start that food forest journey or that gardening journey, man. Now, I'm not no grafting snob. I'm not one of those that's only for grafting, because I was actually against grafting for some time. You know what I'm saying? I was against it until I realized like certain fruits you do need to graft if you want a certain variety. But nonetheless, I do understand that if you plant a mango tree, if you plant an avocado tree, you're gonna get an avocado tree. You're gonna get a mango tree. It's not like if you plant a mango tree, you're gonna get an avocado tree. You know what I'm saying? You may not get the actual variety of mango, but nonetheless, you're still gonna get a mango. You're still gonna get avocado. Before we even get into any of the grafting or get our hands dirty, I wanna say, do your neighborhood due diligence, man. Give this episode a like, make sure to comment neighborhood in the comments below. If I'm missing anything, feel free to put that in the comments below. Each one teach one in the neighborhood. Also, follow me on my socials at neighborhoodnature_, as well as subscribe to the neighborhood. Why? So we can continue to grow this neighborhood one neighbor at a time. I do have some scions. Now, for those of you who don't know what a scion, A scion is a cutting that you get from the parent tree, which is the variety that you want. Take a cutting from there or a scion from there, and then you get a seedling, which is whatever mango you ate, that seed you grow. This is a seedling, and then you put that scion, you merge them together to create one plant that's gonna grow that desired variety that you would like. You gotta be prepared. So before we even start getting the cuttings and start grafting, I wanna get into what you will need to have a successful graft. Now, you don't need everything on this list. I'm gonna state which ones are the most important, but try to get these things before you start grafting. It will make for a better experience. Trust me, because when I first started grafting, I didn't have everything and I made some grave mistakes. First, you need some good snippers. You know what I'm saying? These make good, clean cuts. You could get these for $10, $15, $20, depending on how big you want it at Home Depot. Number two, you need a good grafting knife to make your incision on the seedling and to scrape that cambium layer on the scion. I got this from Amazon for $13, and it came with some grafting tape. It didn't come with buddy tape, it came with grafting tape. I'm gonna get into the difference between those two as well. It came with this for $13, two of these. You know, you can't go wrong with that. It's a very sharp knife that makes a very fine cut where you won't have no mishaps, and it comes with two different blades. Or if you have a razor, you know, a box cutter razor, you can use that as well. But I highly advise you make that investment if you're gonna start grafting in the near future. Always be prepared, neighbors. Number three, this is very important. It should be number one on the list. Some may have some opinions on this, some may not, but I highly advise you get some buddy tape. Totally different from what they call grafting tape. The grafting tape that came with that knife is basically just plastic wrap. This is not the most efficient for wrapping your graft. It often lets in the air and makes way for your scion to dry out. So I would highly advise you to get some buddy tape. You could get this from A.M. Leonard, or you could just Google it. I think on Amazon they have it for $34. I'm not sure how legit that is, but I've seen a legit one on A.M. Leonard for about 60 bucks. I know you're saying like, whoa, 60 bucks for some tape? It's not regular tape. This tape can last you, even if you're making frequent grafts like me, this can last you for years. It's nothing like this. This is what you use to wrap the scion. This is what you do to tighten it. You feel me? And I'm gonna go into that once we get there. But it's called buddy tape, neighbors. This is not graft tape. Type in graft tape, it will take you to this plastic wrap stuff. Makes for a more efficient, easy, less of a headache grafting experience, neighbors. When I first started my grafts, I did not have the buddy tape, and it led to all my grafts, except for the one that I showed you earlier in the episode, failing. All of them failed because I didn't have the right tape, neighbors. This is optional. It's a trash bag, yes. You need some trash bags. More than likely, you have this. This is what you're gonna use to cover your grafts. Now, if you're gonna use a bottle, which I highly advise you to use a bottle over the trash bag just because it's more durable. If you're gonna use the bottle, you don't need the trash bag. Then last but not least, some rubber bands to keep this in place. I know it sounds confusing, whatever the case may be, but make sure you stay tuned. We're gonna go into the whole process and you're gonna understand why I'm using what I use, neighbors. All right, and I forgot to tell you, neighbors, the variety that we will be grafting onto these seedlings, the Valencia Pride mango. Yes, Valencia Pride. Valencia Pride is top 3, and it's not 2 or 3 to me. It's one of those greater Florida varieties. If I had to compare the taste, I would say it tastes like honey mixed with coconut cream and then some. It's so amazing. The taste is always very consistent. I just absolutely love that variety. Now, I'm not a mango stickler. I haven't tried hundreds of mangoes because there's hundreds of varieties, maybe 1,000 of varieties out there in the world. So I haven't tried everyone. I probably only tried like 15. But out of that 15, Valencia Pride is very, very much up there, you know what I'm saying? So I would encourage you go try it or go buy a tree, which we will have available soon. The tree that we will be securing the scions from, or the cuttings from, is across the street. It's an OG tree. It gotta be at least 40 years old. Man, it has so much new growth. Typically, towards the middle to end September, this is when, you know, most grafters tend to go crazy on securing some scions because the tree has so much new growth. It's typically the end of mango season. Mango season usually is from the start of spring, which is April, all the way till, August. Some varieties may last till September, middle September, but typically it ends like beginning to middle of August. Definitely this variety ends middle August. I wish it could go to September. Also, another big reason why I started grafting to this variety is because this year that tree fruited a lot because it's an OG tree, but it didn't fruit nearly as much as we're accustomed to. And that's simply because we didn't have a huge rainy season like previous years. But typically, on average, that tree gives us at least 500 mangoes. This year, it probably gave us about 300. And it's not even just my tree or I only have access to it, the whole neighborhood or whoever knows about it has access to it. But now we are securing our own from that tree and starting to be more independent just in case, that tree is no longer available to us. You feel me? All right, neighbors, so we are approaching the mother tree. It is, look at this. Look how huge this tree is. It is as big as it looks, neighbors. This tree has to be at least 40 feet tall, 30 feet wide. Not sure, not good with my measurements. This property that I'm on, it actually used to be a house on here, but some years ago they had tore down the house, and that was a telltale sign to start learning how to graft, because the people that tore down the house, most likely they're probably going to start building on it soon. So that just only telling me that we're probably not going to have access to this tree sooner than later. And who knows what they'll do to this tree. They might cut it down, and I will be highly upset. So that's what made me start getting into grafting and securing this variety, because I love this variety. I would have probably just bought my own from a good grower, but why buy it when you could learn the skill and come secure your own? All right, neighbors, so typically when you're looking for a scion, you want it to be something like this. You want it to look nice and swollen right here. Now, some people may say that it can't look like it's pushing out new growth, but if it's a little bit pushed out, it's not a big deal, because I've secured some grafts, some scions that had new growth pushing out, and it still took. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily go by that, but I will say the most sure way is to wait till it's like swollen but not fully pushing out new growth. You don't want it to look too young, but you want it to look, young, not like about a few months old, maybe a year old. You don't want it to look woody. That's why most grafters wait till the beginning or middle September to start grafting or securing some cuttings off their tree, because that's when all the new growth that is growing on the tree is getting more mature, looking ready to be able to use, to graft. Now, I was grafting all throughout mango season, but if you're a new grafter, I would say September or any time after September is the best time to start securing some cuttings, because the tree that you have access to most likely has so much new growth, it's insane. And the new growth is ready to be utilized for your grafts. All I'm going to do is secure some more scions. I am going to get more than I need, because I am going to be storing some scions as well. You can store scions. Why am I storing scions? Because I have so many mango trees that are not even ready to be grafted yet, that I want to stay ready so I don't have to get ready. You see how this is looking nice and green? Now, you don't want to use something like this. This is too young. You see how it's like very, very light green? This is way too young. You want to let this get a little bit older before you cut this and utilize this as your scion. This is way too young. Stay right in this range right here. It's young. It's nice and young. Let me show you. It's nice and young. It's not even a year old, but it is old enough to where you can, start grafting with it. Yeah, y'all see it? Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know how much I secured. I probably secured anywhere from 20 to 30 scions. Now, I'm not sure because I didn't count. Could be under, could be a little bit over. We'll find that out a little bit later. But I'm not gonna necessarily use those right away, because I do have some scions that I stored in the refrigerator for some time now. So I'm going to use these first. I'm going to refer to them as scions or cuttings. It's the same thing. What was the purpose of me getting it from the tree? Well, that was to show you guys how to get it from the tree and what to look for. Whatever leftover scions you do have, you can store them in the refrigerator. They will last a very long time. It just depends on how you store them. Now, me, I've stored them two ways. The first time I stored them in a wet paper towel, and the second time, which is as you see, in buddy tape. Me personally, I think it's less stress storing them in buddy tape. Worry less, because when you store them in a paper towel, you have to constantly check on the paper towel to see if it's still moist or not. It'll possibly, dry out, and if it dries out, then your scion's gonna dry out. With the buddy tape, it just keeps the moisture in from the first cutting. So I would definitely recommend you wrapping it in buddy tape. But if you feel like you'll check on it all the time, then I'll say use the paper towel. Also, what I forgot to mention in tools that you will need a sanitizer wipe to wipe off your knife when you're making your cuts and your cutters, because grafting is basically like performing surgery on a tree. When surgery is being performed, what does the surgeon make sure he has? Clean tools, so that you're not spreading germs or any of that stuff. So you want to make sure you have a wet wiper too to wipe off your tools after every cut when you see stuff building up on your tools. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna cut this. And I know, neighbors, when you first start grafting and you start performing surgery on your tree, you're gonna feel so wrong for cutting your tree. You're gonna feel like you're killing it, but trust me, you're not killing your tree. Trees, plants are very resilient. They could withstand this little incision or process that you are doing. And we're gonna take our knife, wipe it a little bit so that we're not passing on anything, and then we're just gonna slice it downward. Now, neighbors, when you're slicing it, especially when it's a younger tree, it's gonna be much easier to cut straight down here. So you don't wanna put too much pressure down, or you could slice it a certain way, then you're gonna have to make a whole new cut and then, start the whole process over. So be mindful, just make sure you're lined up and just put a little bit of pressure. And as the knife eases its way through the ceiling, you want to ease up that pressure that you're putting on it and just wiggle your way through there. You only want to go about 1.5 to 2 inches down, nothing too crazy. Now next, all we do is take our scion, we match it up, and then we do the thing. I'm gonna utilize one of these newer ones. So now with the scion as well, you want to take off all the leaves. And I'm gonna make my cut. It doesn't need to be this damn long, so I'm going to cut it like way up here and make it do what it do. I think this matches up pretty well. Nope, that's a little bit too big, so gotta find a nice skinny one. Yep, that seems like it's pretty good. I'll cut this down a little bit more. We take our knife, remember I wiped it, sanitize it, and then we're just gonna give it a nice little cut so that the cells can unionize and connect when you're merging the scion with the ceiling. Now we're gonna plug that in. What's up? What's up? You see how we got these two layers matching up perfectly? That's exactly how you want it. You want it to look nice and seamless. Then you take your buddy tape. Don't need that much, just need like a nice little tiny slip like that. You just wrap it around. Nice and snug. It doesn't have to be super tight, but you don't want it to be loose. We're gonna just take this plastic wrap, basically just tighten it around where we made the cut so that it does not come loose. Now you don't have to do it very, very tight, but just, make sure that it's staying put. Then all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my bottle I'm just going to put it on there to secure the graft. Now I'm going to put more dirt on there to cover this part. And then we're just gonna put our bottle on there like this. Sit it in there, and it should be good to go. If you're worried about the bottle moving, all you have to do is get a hanger just like this, put it on down there, put that other side down there like that. You take your rubber band, so it stays put. And now it's like in a nice little greenhouse. You don't have to use a hanger if you don't have a hanger. You could use 2 sticks. Let me show you an instance where I use 2 sticks. I try not to waste anything. So these are moringa sticks that I have here, 1 and 2, and then this is the mango tree. All I did was took 2 branches, and then where I made the cutting up top, I just put the rubber band there to keep this bottle from sitting on the top where it's gonna push out new growth. Let's get to it to get through it. Highly encourage you guys to add grafting into your bag whenever you wanna secure a certain variety or speed up the process of, receiving fruit for your trees, in your food forest, garden, whatever the case may be, neighbors. With that being said, man, let's get outside, let's get to growing so our health can get to glowing. Y'all know the neighborhood mainstay motto, which is grow your own / support true righteous local growers like myself, or continue to rely on a broken system to supply you their own. We all know what comes with their own. Do your neighborhood due diligence, give this episode a like, make sure to comment neighborhood in the comments below, as well as follow me on all my socials at neighborhoodnature_, and subscribe to the neighborhood if you haven't already. Why? So we can continue to grow the neighborhood one neighbor at a time. If you want to start your food forest journey but you don't know where to start, go tap into the online plant nursery at NH Grower Society. We have a collection of fruit-bearing trees, seasonal herbs, and seeds for you to tap in with to start your food forest journey or make it easier. Food forest journey, gardening, or one that's in unison. Peace, love, light, much energy to you and yours. It's your favorite neighbor, Dayron, aka Neighborhood. See you on the next one. Yeah.